Yeah, well, I guess it comes down to sort of three lessons that I've learned over my life from very important people. So I'm a Quandamooka woman, originally from a small island called Nostra Island. We call it Minjirribah. No matter what struggles you've had, those things are actually the things that are the strongest part about who you are as a person in this world.
Hi friends, I am Sajid Amin from Empowered Woman channel, SI Neuro Excellence, and I'm having a wonderful and strong, followable, lovable woman with me, Leanne Margaret Enoch, who is the member of Assembly since 2015, and she was the oldest child of four siblings who graduated from the university. She was the first one to graduate, and she is the proud woman um, to be to doing all this. She is accomplished, and she wants to share her strengths, knowledge, and other things to the other women that they can always follow that and uh, be successful in their life. And she has graduated from the University of East London and has graduated from Teachers College as well. Um, and she is currently serving with the Parliament, currently as a Queensland Ministry for Treaty, Minister for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island Partnership, Minister for Communities, Minister for the Arts. And she has served different um, in the past as well, Ministry of Housing, Public Works, Ministry of Science, Innovation in 2015, Ministry of Digital Economy, and Minister for Small Business in 2017. She has a lot of knowledge, lot of experience. Leanne, we are so much proud of you, and we want you to share your accomplishments in life and your journey till now. And if you can, first of all, I'll welcome you here. And then if you can, my first question is, what is the best advice? No, sorry. Tell me about yourself in one sentence.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Najida, and I really appreciate being part of this big movement that you're really driving, and that is to help women see their own power in the world. And of course, to take up the spaces and places that we need women to do to take up because, we have such a vital part of our community. We play such a vital part in our community. We want to make sure that women are in that space. But for me, so I'm a Quandamooka woman, originally from a small island called Nostra Island. We call it Minjirribah in my language.
Mhm.
And I'm a mum too. I'm a former high school teacher. And I, of course, am a member of parliament. We've just had a change of government, so now I'm a shadow minister of multiple portfolios. So I continue to have, huge responsibilities beyond those of my own electorate.
Great. And you are continuously in the ministry. It means it proves that you have done a lot for the society, that people like you, right? So you are every time people like you and you are coming in ministry. That's really great. Thank you for sharing. And the next question is the tell me the strengths that you have, making you the strong woman as you are today.
Yeah, well, I guess it comes down to sort of three lessons that I've learned over my life from very important people. The first one has always been about challenging the way you look at the world. And I learned this from my Aboriginal father, actually, where he, was impacted by past legislation in Queensland, some of which was, very discriminatory against First Nations peoples or Aboriginal people. But he struggled with the concepts of how people saw Aboriginal people in this state, and so challenging the way that you look at the world, challenging your assumptions, is really important. You need to be able to make sure that you don't accept the story that other people might be creating about you. Whether that's through culture, through legislation, through societal forces, but that idea that you are not what other people decide you're going to be. You have to challenge that. Young girl and as a young woman, and then of course as we grow older, we challenge that every day. So that's really important. The second one is that your story is the strongest thing about you. And so I remind myself about that all the time. That no matter where you come from, no matter what struggles you've had, those things are actually the things that are the strongest part about who you are as a person in this world. And so to take the strength from those sometimes adverse circumstances really gives you, a huge edge in being able to move forward. So I look at the struggles that my family have been through, that I've been through, some of the challenges that I've faced, and I never see them as a deficit. I always see them as the strongest thing that I have to bring to any situation. And then the third lesson is to make sure that there's plenty of room for everybody to be amazing. So,
Wow.
you
Wow.
can't go through the door, you can't be the first one through the door and then not hold that door open for others. It's really important that we make room for other women in particular, but for all people to
Mhm.
be able to absolutely meet their potential and to create that space for others to um, become aware of and to meet their greatness on this planet. So they're the kind of things that in everything that I do, I go back to those three lessons every time.
These are the great lessons, and it can tell that you are following all that and you are here where you are today. So, Leanne has told us really good three things that if we follow in our life, or as she is sharing, we are thankful to her that she is sharing with all the women around that don't accept the story that the other
Mm.
people tell you. You have to create your own story, believe in your own potential, and and wherever you are coming, the background, make that as your strength. That's Leanne is
Yes.
telling us, and that's great, Leanne. And then next question is, as you have a less time, so it's you have a lot of knowledge. I would love to be with you again. And the next is, what is the best advice that have you been ever given?
Um, well, interestingly, it's for different circumstances, but if I look through the political lens, because here I am, I've just been elected for the fourth time now.
Congratulations.
Um, thank you.
Congrats. A
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. It's a lot of effort to get to this point,
lot
but
of
and it's
effort.
also and it's massive trust, obviously, from the people who
Exactly.
elect you. Very
Yeah.
humbled and grateful. But one of my political mentors said to me these words: um, "Be patient but ready." And I always thought about that from the political lens because politically things change really quickly. So you can't force something. But when the change is happening or when the opportunity is presenting itself, you have to be ready to go. But when I take those words and I think about the world more generally, and all of us at certain times, that feeling of when you really
Hmm.
want something and push it, and sometimes it doesn't work out the way that you had hoped it would be, or somehow you almost um, you almost ruin the opportunity by pushing too hard on
Yeah.
something. Um, but this idea that be patient but be ready,
Mm.
for me, kind of opens up this idea that there will always be opportunities when you see the right one, when you've been calm in yourself and centered in yourself, that you feel confident about taking the step, then when you're ready, it'll be there and you'll be able to go. So that's probably the biggest amazing piece of advice that I've ever been given.
That's great, Leanne. So, absolutely, this is the I would say that this is the golden piece that you got. Whoever gave you the advice, this is the golden piece because it brings a balance, right? Balance
Yes.
and ultimately success with the pace, with a good pace. So
Mm.
and as you have this advice and you are like you are keeping it with you, so look like how stable your career is, right? So
Yeah.
absolutely you are using that, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
exactly. And next question is, how do you preserve yourself during the tough times?
Yeah, and I think, doesn't matter what job you do or what level of responsibilities you have, there are always going to be tough times. Always. You know, when you're at home with your family, when you're moving from one country to another country,
Exactly.
you know, all of these,
All of
yeah,
life is
challenges.
not a straight path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you've got to find the things that allow you to center yourself. So for me, I do some artwork. You can see one of my pieces of art behind
Oh,
me. So when I get a
wow.
chance, I will draw or paint. Um,
Really great. Oh my God, it's beautiful. I would love to
um,
come and see your art.
well, yeah, next time, let's do another one of these where we can have a bit more of a to and fro
Sure,
conversation. Yes, the next
sure.
time, the office.
Yeah.
Um, but you've got to find the little things that help you find that bit of quietness in yourself,
Hmm.
where you can hear your true spiritual ancient self. So
Exactly.
for me, art is really important, but I also do some long distance running. So I discovered running during COVID, strange thing,
Hmm. Hmm.
but that
Yeah.
exercise has helped just like, you know, when you're out there running, it's a real thing. You're thinking about stuff and it sort of all jostles into place and then,
Mhm.
you know, reemerges as some direction for yourself. But for me, it's really that sense of it's a kind of meditation that allows you to
Mhm.
contact with your very ancient self. Yeah.
So that's great, Leanne. So connecting with ourself, whatever our inner uh, self is telling us, that gives us peace as well. And you are connecting with yourself through your art, beautiful art.
Yeah.
And then you connect with yourself with the nature that gives us a bit of peace. Even during the tough times, that can help us to come out of it. So,
Yes.
Leanne, my next question is that when did you decide to come into the politics and why?
Well, politics was not something that I, you know, as a young woman was like, oh, I when I grow up, I want to be a politician. It just wasn't part of my plan at all. I became a high school teacher. I got to teach and you know, throughout Queensland, and then went over to and taught in East London for a little while. And then when I came back to Australia, I got more involved in policy work. And I was always been looking at my work on this earth as being from that place of service to others. So
Mm.
as a teacher, policymaker, as a public servant, and then as somebody who was working with Australian Red Cross, you know, one of the largest humanitarian organisations in the world, I'd always had this very service orientation. And then I one day I met uh, the education minister at the time, who eventually became the premier of Queensland, and uh, in that very split moment, I just saw in her another opportunity, another path where serving others could be could be another, I guess,
Well,
depth service.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
another depth
going more into
minister.
it. Yeah,
Right.
like you will be more resourceful to help more people, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly right.
That's great.
Exactly right.
Like your actual, which I can see in your service as well, that you are continuously maintaining that, your ministry because you served your people, right? So
Yeah,
that was the reason that you came to serve people around, serve the society and community. So
yeah,
that's great. Thank you so much for being a woman and uh, coming from that background, standing out and helping others. It's a great thing, Leanne. So next question is, where is your happy place?
well, of course, I have a few places like that. And I think this is another aspect of, you know, for women, when we are juggling
Mhm.
multiple tasks and multiple roles in your family, in your workplace, in society, in culture, in religion, there are multiple roles that
Exactly.
women are constantly managing. So, the vision of the many balls in the air, that is us every day, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
sometimes you have to have a few different happy places so that whenever you need one, you can
Different
park
ways.
on in. Yeah, so you can't always have them at your disposal. So you've got to have a few of those places. Um, for me, the I mentioned running, long distance running. Oh gosh, when I'm in that zone after that first kilometer of running, the endorphins start coming, and
Exactly.
there's a really feeling. It's so lovely, but I can't always run. So there are other things, and doesn't always hit the mark for me. So I am very fortunate that my traditional country, as
Mm.
an Aboriginal, is Minjerribah, North Stradbroke Island. So the quick boat trip, sometimes home, just to put my
Oh,
feet in the or to swim in the ocean, love it, and that is
great.
so stores me immediately. So which is really a sense of family and place, right? So
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
happy place,
happy
that
place.
knowing, the connection and the knowingness is the thing that makes me
Mhm.
happy.
That's great, Leanne. Leanne's best advice to the struggling woman.
So I, right now I'm in a really privileged position. My two sons are grown, they're 28 and 24.
Oh.
I have a wonderful partner. I have a great job. I don't have the same pressures that I used to have when my children were younger. But before, I've been a single mother with my two children, and there were some really tough times, I have to say, when you're on your own, raising your children. Even though I had great family support and their dad was still very available to the children, but it's a big struggle. There were times when I was counting out my 20-cent pieces to see if I could get enough for milk, for the kids for
Mhm.
that night.
Mhm.
Payday was the day, that kind of stuff. The real struggles of trying to help keep your
Yes.
household together, keep your kids on track, helping them make sure that they do well at school, because that every door that closes on them is less opportunity. So you want to keep the doors open constantly for them to find their way in the world. All of that is such a struggle, but again, for me, family, and if you don't have blood family, like your mum and your dad and your brothers and sisters and your aunties and uncles and nanas and granddads, then to create a family around yourself.
Mhm.
I lived in London for 4 years. I had my first child over there, um, and my children's father, my ex-husband, he had some family there, but they all lived outside of London. And so I had to create a family. So I found the best possible people to be not just great mirrors to me, not just to reflect myself back, but people who would look at me and see me properly. And so
Mhm.
I couldn't fool them with like, oh, I'm fine, everything's great. You want people who are going to really connect to you and look at you and see you properly. And so I created that family myself with good people who every day really saw me. And so I do that very regularly, try and find
That's
if I don't
really
have,
great.
I create my family.
I love it. My fellow friends, other women, can you hear? I'm having goosebumps that how she um, helped herself when she was struggling. You found the ways and you created a family of friends. And that the same thing that every struggling woman can do and be like Leanne as she is progressing every day. That's really good. I do appreciate your sharing. You're sharing with us like a lot of good things that I can take away from it and the
Yeah,
other
but
women around, right? Yeah,
you're doing exactly the same thing through
yeah, yeah.
your YouTube channel, is creating a family of women
Exactly.
connecting to each other and
I want,
struggle.
it's my passion, Leanne, that I also had struggled a lot. So someday I'll share with you. But I want, like you, that help others what we have done, like, the struggles, whatever they have taught us, just to share
Mhm.
with the other people, they can get the strength from here. So, Leanne, what is the women empowerment in your eyes?
Well, I guess it comes back to what I opened with and, acknowledging the work that you're doing. Um, we've got a very big world out there and a world that is facing some incredibly complex issues,
Hmm,
incredibly complex.
incredible.
And so, you know, women have to be part of the solution. We have to be, not just because we're 50% of the world's population, but of course that makes sense.
Yeah.
But also, we have this unique set of perspectives and roles in this world as human beings that are so important to solving these big critical issues that we're facing right now. So,
Hmm.
women empowerment is uh, us finding our true self, being grounded in that, but also understanding that when you are in that space, you're.
So this was the interview with the Queensland Minister, Leanne Enoch, who is the minister within Queensland, Australia since 2015. She shared her knowledge, her strengths, and her accomplishment with us. We will be bringing uh, another woman who has done a lot in her life, coming from different backgrounds and are at renowned positions in the world. They will share their experiences, and it will help all the women around in the world to enhance their life, and their they can be successful as these women are. They are setting an example for everyone. I will be bringing more people here. You're welcome to come to my interview. You can come to my interview and share your knowledge here. Have a wonderful day.